Hello, and welcome to this session as one part of a six-part Main Street, Iowa orientation video series. Other videos in this series include in-depth discussions on each of the Main Street 4 points, in addition to a general presentation covering the Main Street approach, as well as a discussion on the foundations of local Main Street program management. Today's session will go into more detail about the promotion point of the Main Street approach. Promotion is one of 4 integrated values that help create the framework for this comprehensive approach to Main Street District revitalization that is tied together by overarching market-based economic strategies called transformation strategies. As you participate in this training, we challenge you to think about how each of the 4 points overlap and support each other through this process, not as individual silos or isolated committees, but as a coordinated and powerful strategy for your local Main Street program. This promotion training will be facilitated by Main Street Iowa's Downtown Development Specialist, Carol Lilly. Carol is one member of our Main Street Iowa team, a team that is here to support you and your local Main Street program with technical support, assistance, and connection to the broader Main Street network here in Iowa and across the country. Carol, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Michael. Again, welcome and thanks for joining us on this session about Main Street promotion basics. Activities generated through the promotion point are typically highly visible in the community. This point addresses all things social with the purpose of attracting people to the district. It encompasses everything from festivals to pub crawls to general invitations to experience the downtown district. To be effective, you need to understand both the customers and your competition. Remember, the market is ever changing. You need to be able to define your market, your Main Street's market niche. That means it's your unique position in the marketplace. You need to identify your downtown's assets. That includes people, buildings, heritage, institutions, and finally, you also want to create new image campaigns, new retail promotions, new special events, all to lure people downtown. And of course, you need to spread the word strategically. This sounds like a lot to undertake, but because promotions is one of 4 points, you'll have the support of the design, organization, and EV teams to achieve your goals. In order to understand your customer base, you need to know who they are. Rely on your EV team to help you with this process. Robin Bostrom talks about Esri data in the EV presentation. Esri data provides you with a wealth of information. Each year, Main Street Iowa provides you with an updated market snapshot with an overview of the data for your community. Use it to identify and learn about your potential target markets. So what are your district's physical assets? Work with your design team to learn more about those physical assets and buildings. Build partnerships with the Historical Society and other nonprofit institutions to get an understanding of your social assets. People, heritage, and institutions that set your community apart are all those social aspects. So, what is one thing that makes your downtown special? Is it the physical landscape, like Snake Alley in Burlington? Or is it a beautiful historical theater with live performances? So you've done your data assessment and you've identified your target market. You know what assets and resources that you need to promote. Now you can start to think about the activities that you are going to add to your program of work or your promotions calendar. So basically, what are you going to do? There are 3 types of promotional activities: image building, sales or business promotions, and that means retail, restaurants, and service businesses, special events and festivals. No matter what promotional activity you do, ask, does it address your organization's mission, vision, and does it have specific and measurable goals and objectives? If the answer is not yes, then do not do it. So let's start with image building events. These are events and campaigns and activities that aren't really focused on that business side of things. They're done to reinforce that the Main Street District is an authentic, dynamic, lively place. It is the center of community life. It is the place that makes people feel proud. Image must be crafted and reflect the values of the community. It becomes the community's brand. Make sure to be authentic. Focus on what's best or what has the most potential in your community. Generate fresh activity to help downtown become or remain the center of community life. The materials you create should be high quality and reflect a sense of place. Showcase the progress of things that are happening downtown. Generate excitement. So, what does that excitement do? It attracts more investors, more shoppers, more diners, and more residents who want to be where the action is. And a couple of examples on this slide. First is the Coon Rapids branding campaign. Their brand has specific guidelines, and it really carries out and is reflected throughout the community in all their materials, and that really reinforces the image of the community. Support materials are everything from signage, brochures, letterhead, all of the things that are related to your program. Another image campaign is Avoca, and they did special banners to celebrate the community's 150th year celebration. When building your image, you want to have a variety of targeted materials to portray that image. And remember, you always want to reflect quality and the characteristics within your district as a whole. Blogs, videos, social media profiles or campaigns, hashtags, brochures, ads and tourism guides, coordinated window displays, billboards, banners, stickers, press releases, press kits. I could go on, but you can use a lot of these methods to share not only about your image, but also about sales and festivals too. When crafting your image, accentuate the positives and dispel the negatives to tell a compelling story of your downtown and the people in it. Image campaigns can help with a short-term situation like a streetscape project. This image is from a couple years ago in Nevada, and their message was businesses are open. Again, use all those forms of marketing that I talked about earlier to tell your story or a variety of them that fit the message that you're trying to tell. Mason City is a really good example too of an Iowa destination that has really themed itself around its assets. They have a historic Park Inn hotel downtown, which is a prairie style architecture, and the community has really leaned into that and built that into their public amenities and wayfinding signage, Music Man Square, public art, all of those types of things. Again, they've carried that image throughout the community. So what are some other ways to build your image? Annual meetings, celebrating significant achievements or organizational milestones, historical events, Main Street Iowa Award recognition or other awards, ribbon cuttings, grand openings. Promote it all to share that positive image of your district. The next type of promotion to include in your calendar are Main Street business promotions. These activities generate immediate sales of goods and services. Typically, we immediately think of retail events, but don't overlook dining, service, and entertainment venues. They need to generate sales too. I love this example from Marion because it taps into their image, but is also a very sales-focused piece. It tells you exactly how to support businesses financially. In sales events, you'll want to showcase a variety of goods and services available in the downtown, promote a cooperative, unified district working together, and you want it to be designed to make the register ring, sale after sale. But sales efforts don't have to be event related. A well-done window display highlights how a product highlights a product or how it can improve sales. You can create a window scavenger hunt and get people downtown really looking at the window displays to see what is offered in the shops. Another sales effort could be to assist with in-store merchandising and include information about coupons or reward programs in the display. Good visual displays are great things to share on Instagram and other social media. You could also create a district-wide gift certificate program. Again, all of these things are ways to generate sales. Here's a couple of examples of ways to help registers ring. You can host a restaurant week, and that's a way to invite people to try new places to eat in your downtown and in your community. On the right is a screenshot of a Facebook post from Main Street, Washington, and it's promoting their Tote Bag Tuesdays sales event, and it is posted in both English and Spanish. What a great way to reach a multiple targeted audiences. As I mentioned earlier, unifying businesses to work together to create sales events is something that you could be working on. As the saying goes, rising tide lifts all boats. Well, everyone doing an open house on the same weekend is much better than one or two stores going alone. Cooperative promotions are events that are featuring businesses with similar products and services. A farmer's market is an ultimate cooperative venture. Upcycling events like Funky Junkaloo are also ways to bring similar types of businesses together. I already mentioned restaurant weeks or like taste of a neighborhood type event. Nighttime establishments could do a pub crawl. Specialty gift shops could do a shop hop. There's all kinds of ways to get businesses working together. Another type is cross promotions, and that's when complementary businesses work together. The image on the left is from a downtown realtor. It's their business card, and they are offering a $5 off coupon on the back of their business card. Again, it's two different types of businesses that are still working together to support each other. You'll see this oftentimes in entertainment venues like escape rooms, archery shops, or the hatchet throwing places where they'll give out a coupon for people to go eat at a restaurant or something like that, or a drink coupon. Don't be afraid to be obvious on sales events, either with discounted or non-discounted. Don't be boring. Have a lot of fun with it. Some promotions incorporate like a punch card into the event to encourage you to go to multiple shops. And then if you fill out the punch card, you drop it in to a box and you can register for prizes. Don't forget about Shop Iowa. That is a free online sales platform courtesy of IEDA. It is for Iowa small independent businesses to sell online. Each year, they host a Shop Iowa Day and they widely promote it. So encourage your businesses to be involved with Shop Iowa. If you're looking for ideas, the Main Street Iowa Executive Director Facebook group is an awesome place to post questions. And Google and ask, look for ideas from other communities too. Rip off and duplicate things that other communities that are doing that you see online and make it your own. Don't forget to recruit retailers, restaurateurs, and service professionals to serve on your planning teams. Business promotions are best planned by the owners or employees of downtown businesses. You'll get much better buy-in and participation if they help plan it. And be sure to consider your target audience in your planning process as well. One thing to note is Main Street organizations get people to participate in the event, but it is the job of the merchants to connect with those attendees and to make the sale. You bring them downtown, they get them in the stores and make those sales. So on to special events. This last type that we're going to talk about really is a way to attract people to your district. It's a way to introduce new customers to the downtown and to provide excitement to existing events that you're already doing. The purpose of an effective special event remains the same. Acquaint people with the district, give them a warm, fuzzy, positive feeling about the district, attract people to the district, and create an opportunity that will result in eventual sales. Special events don't necessarily mean sales today, but it's that introduction and getting people downtown so they'll come back again at another time. Special events should highlight unique assets and unusual features that you have in your community. They can be built around your heritage, arts and culture, holidays, social activities, a number of things. Here are a couple of examples of heritage events. The one on the left is horse-drawn carriage rides. It's a holiday event, and it really focuses on the history of the early settlers and farming. The picture on the right that you see is an image of a Cinco de Mayo event that is hosted in Valley Junction. Here are two examples that tie arts and cultural activities into your program at work. Mount Vernon hosts Chalk the Walk each spring, and many other communities host fine art events or craft shows. Culture can also mean culture within your community. Run clubs, rafting group, cycling groups can all make downtown the headquarters for group activities, and then they follow up with a drink or meal or some type of activity downtown. Holidays are another reason to host special events. Everyone does some sort of Christmas event. Some communities do it a little bigger than others, but holidays are always a typical go-to. But remember, there's other holidays as well, traditional and non. I'll talk about traditional holidays first. Burlington did a Mother's Day. They did a Build a Bouquet event where participating businesses gave away a flower to those who stopped and shopped on the Saturday before Mother's Day. St. Patrick's Day is another one. Everybody has a little Irish in them on St. Patrick's Day. So many communities host bar and restaurant events centered around that holiday. Some of the more non-traditional or emerging holidays could be something like Pi Day or um, June 13th, Juneteenth, celebrating May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. It's a non-traditional yet well-known date among all those Star Wars fans out there. So again, just try and find those reasons and ways to celebrate to build out your calendar. If you're looking for ideas, the National Calendar Day on Facebook is a good one. AmericanGreetings.com, 365 ways to celebrate. You can just Google those and find some ideas that you might want to celebrate. Special events can also be purely a social activity. Car shows and music festivals are examples of social events. But they still should have clear goals and measurable objectives to make sure it's worth the time and effort put in to host them. You can see by some of the examples that promotional activities can be layered, but there is a strategy to it all. I don't want you to fall into the trap of doing the same thing over and over again. Um, each year, you should take some time to do some spring cleaning. Review your websites, your social media pages, press materials, and all those general type ads. Make sure that you're looking for strategy alignment. Look over your existing vision and purpose and make sure that all your team is in sync. Tactics like your marketing messaging or channels may change, but your overall vision and goals may not. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time to make sure everything is in sync. Also prepare options. Don't assume that campaigns and events that used to work will continue to work. You need to think about new and different things. Audiences will change, patterns of spending will change, and some activities will be less desired than what they were in the past. Spend time looking at options for your target audiences and the value propositions that each bring. Basically, match the needs and expectations of the audience that you're trying to reach with the things that you're trying to do. Rethink your reach. Where do you want to advertise? And where do you want to draw traffic from? And then think about how are you going to reach them? Events that thrive on large crowds need to make sure that they're reaching out to continue to draw people in and reach new people as well. Use consistent messaging in your market strategy. Think about that message. Again, what do you want to tell people? What is your call to action? What do you want people to do? Think about the market, who you want to reach. Be specific. Why them? The medium, again, how are you going to reach them? Is it Facebook, Instagram, TV, direct mail, email? You need a variety of tools in your toolbox. And then where are you going to reach them? In their homes, in their cars, while they're already downtown? All of those things factor into the strategy behind your promotional calendar. Your strategy will include a comprehensive annual calendar of events. But just remember, all 4 community committees will have a role and will help support the events and activities that you're doing if you want to make them successful. Here's an example from Elkader, their strategy to focus on that whitewater park that goes right through their downtown. They have events where you can promote additional viewing of what's happening. They also do a Rhythm on the River series, which is a concert music series that brings people downtown. Again, it's that strategy. They've really leaned into being a river town. Next, we're going to dig into the process. So first of all, get together and brainstorm. If it's a retail event, get your retailers together. A restaurant event, get them involved. This example is a call to action piece from Jefferson. It's an invitation asking for help in planning promotional activities around this exhibit that was going to be coming to their community. That annual calendar that we talked about, it needs to be comprehensive, like we said, and typically you want to develop that out about 12 to 18 months in advance. That well-balanced calendar should include retail, special events, and ongoing image campaign types of activities. Consider as you're researching and looking for resources and things that you want to be able to do, make sure that you have the capacity to do them. So don't just continue to add things like we talked about, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too, but just make sure that you have the resources available to fill out the calendar that you have in place. Use action plans for each event or activity. The more details that you have, the easier it is the next time around for you or someone else to conduct the event. Make sure you're using that notes column to help with contact information and that type of thing. Anybody should be able to step right in and take over if there's a good action plan in place. Another part of that strategy is finding ways to pay for your events and activities. Sponsorships are often a bigger part of that promotional activity budget. So it's a good idea to plan and coordinate a campaign to solicit sponsors. It can be done on an event by event basis, or you could do one campaign in an annual push to find sponsors for your activities. The examples that I have in front of you are from Valley Junction. In the past, they've done that annual sponsorship push to bring people together. So keeping in mind also the fact that you want to have that right of first refusal. So if a company or organization has sponsored an event the previous year, make sure to offer them that same event before you offer it out to the general public. And don't forget to thank those sponsors on flyers, maps, banners, the backs of t-shirts, anything that any ways that you can bring attention to the fact that they promoted the event or sponsored the event. And don't overlook the power of a handwritten thank you note, but do something a little special and add a photograph from the event after it's over to kind of show how successful it was. That's a really nice touch. Part of your strategy is to build a team of volunteers to assist you to carry out those promotional. You've heard the old saying, the more the merrier. Well, that may or may not be the case. So you need to ask yourself, do we have enough people on the team? And are they the right people on the team? You need to assemble a team with skills to help tell your downtown story, as well as skills to host events. You may end up with several subgroups that work on like specific events or promotional related activities, but they don't necessarily all have to meet at once. So again, it is utilizing your volunteers in capacities of multiple factions. Likely promotional candidates are listed on the slide, and I'm not going to read them all, but I do want to mention just a few. Again, the downtown merchants and employees are very important to include in your planning groups. Marketing, advertising, and social media professionals are really good people. They also might be students that are in media clubs at school. So don't overlook the young folks in your community, photographers, videographers, graphic designers, tourism people, if you have partners in tourism offices or within your office. Those are all people that are good to have on that committee. And also there's just citizens that really want to be part of the action. They tend to like to work on promotions events too. So just remember, events can be very, very labor intensive. And if you may need to plan to recruit a lot of volunteers, and don't worry, you've got your organization committee that does some of that volunteer development and volunteer outreach. And And importantly, that piece of thanking them, thanking and recognizing your volunteers, just like we thank and recognize our sponsors, we really need to focus on those volunteer efforts as well. After an event is over, make sure you debrief and evaluate so you can make appropriate changes for the next year so you can improve things. You always want to be doing things better and look at the feedback from your communities. So look at each event in terms of volunteer hours, the number of attendees, sales, those types of things. You want to make sure that it's worth the time and effort to get the outcome and results that you want. So as you're evaluating, think three things: keep it, change it, add things to it, or delete it. Those are all things to kind of consider during that debrief. And most importantly, after you do a debrief and evaluation, you need to make sure that to use that information the next year when you start to plan the event. So in closing, I just want you to remember that the promotion point really helps make downtown the center of the social activities within your community. It has the purpose of attracting people to the district. So use those image campaigns, retail selling events, special events and festivals just to strategically market your district. If you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. I am happy to help. Thank you.